Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Appreciate you guys so much for coming through for this video. And so the Houston Texans have apparently been asking teams for a combination of six players or draft picks and a potential Deshaun Watson trade per sources. I'm according to Adam Schefter here. And so just to break through the article that he wrote here. And so, the Houston Texans, as I mentioned, they want a combination of six players or draft picks in Deshaun Watson, a potential Deshaun Watson trade. And the Houston Texans, they sought a package of those six, players or draft picks from teams interested in trading for the star quarterback Deshaun Watson this past summer. League sources tell ESPN now whether the package consisted of one player or five draft picks or two players and four draft picks, the Texans were unwilling to budge from their trade price for Watson, who remains on their roster currently, even though he will not be on the active Sunday's opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans do not plan to play Watson at all this season. That's important to point out. But sources around the league believe that Houston general manager Nick Caserio will not trade a three-time Pro Bowler for anything less than six combined players and draft picks. And I definitely do believe that as well, that they're going to hold this man hostage for as long as possible until they get what they're looking for. And so sources tell ESPN that no team is willing to meet Caserio's asking price without attaching at least conditions to the picks because of the ongoing investigations by the FBI and Houston Police Department and the NFL into Watson, who faces 22 active, civil lawsuits with allegations of sexual assault and inappropriate behavior. Now, Watson and his lawyers have denied, the accusations, and no charges have been filed. But Watson's attorney, Rusty Hardin, said last month that Watson also spoke to the FBI about allegations of extorting regarding one of the 23 lawsuits originally filed against him. As of last month, Watson has not yet spoken directly to the NFL, according to Hardin. And Watson requested a trade, this past January because he was unhappy with the direction of the franchise and the process used to hire Caserio. So that definitely makes sense. Obviously, Caserio knows that Watson was not a fan of his hire, and so he's not going to do him any favors when it comes to getting rid of Deshaun Watson. Of course, Watson can veto any trade he doesn't like. So therefore, that's a pretty tough situation there. And so sources also previously told ESPN that the Texans are prepared to keep Watson on a 53-man roster the entire season, even though they will have to pay him his $10.5 million salary, but they are okay with that. Tyrod Taylor, he will end up being a starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars in today's Sunday matchup, while Ricky Davis-Mills will serve as the Houston Texans' backup quarterback. And so, and Ian Rappaport, he confirms that as well, saying that quarterback Deshaun Watson will watch today as a healthy scratch, and that's going to be the plan moving forward. As talks, could pick up, he says, around the trade deadline. So, and just to dive into what Ian Rappaport had to say, he says that obviously Deshaun Watson's going to be watching today's season opener against the Houston Texans because he's ruled out for non-football reasons. Barring this dramatic turn, which we're not going to see any dramatic turns like that, this is the way it will be, for the season. According to sources close to the situation in Houston, a franchise quarterback in his prime, a healthy scratch. However, this could change around the time that the trade deadline of November 2nd. And that's going to be a key date to keep in mind, as well as some of the teams who have had interest in Watson, the Dolphins, Eagles, Panthers, Broncos, and others. They could renew their interest depending on how the season goes. And obviously what that means is, for example, like the Dolphins, for example, this is the team that probably makes the most sense right now. That's been the closest. Watson definitely has interest in going to the Dolphins, whereas the Eagles, he's not as interested for the Eagles. But if a team like the Dolphins, who just really their starting quarterback is Jacoby Brissett as their backup, but if Tua goes out there and struggles badly, or if he gets injured or something like that, then maybe that creates a desperation situation to where they'd want to reach out for the services of Deshaun Watson, or maybe they come out to a slow start this season and they realize quarterback is holding them back. Something like that could really spark a stronger interest to where they may go ahead and take a chance on someone like Deshaun Watson. It won't be because of those, lawsuits. I don't think in terms of ending anytime soon. So it's definitely going to have to be the route of a team just getting really desperate in that scenario that could renew their interest, just depending on how the season's going, based upon conversations with sources informed of the situation. And so, of course, Watson still has those pending civil lawsuits. But with Watson previously having demanded a trade, vowing never to play for the Texans, and the team holding a firm stance, on their trade offer that definitely they're going to be holding on to strong, because they do not want to compromise at all. And this will be the reality for the Houston Texans. Watson's inactive and not playing, awaiting an eventual trade. If Carolina's Sam Darnold experiment doesn't work out, then could they make an early season push? Could others? Watson has a no trade clause and clearly has affection for Miami. The article goes on to state, and could a slow trigger the Dolphins, who drafted Tua Tagovailoa, and that's what I mentioned earlier, in the first round of the 2020 into action. And so, yeah, it definitely seems Miami would make the most sense if a trade were to go down this current season. But Watson, he's definitely dug in on his request to be traded and not play for Houston, and the Texans are dug in on waiting for a strong enough offer, per a source informed for the team's thinking. And so Houston received significant offers for Watson over the course of the offseason, including those with multiple first-round picks, according to sources involved in the various discussions. And general manager Nick Caseria has not deemed it enough to deal a franchise quarterback in his prime. And so, and waiting actually makes sense if Caseria doesn't get an offer he wants. If the Texans trade Watson now, that team becomes much better, and their draft picks could be worth less than they were before the trade. So if Houston waits until the offseason, they will have certainty on what picks they're actually acquiring, and if Watson will waive his no trade clause, will trade him for the most valuable first rounder they can. That's a big if, though, because I doubt he'll do them any favors, especially since they're certainly not looking to do him any. And so Watson has not been placed on the commissioner's exempt list, and barring new evidence emerging or new charges being filed, he won't be on the league, sources say. So he's not going to be on the commissioner's exempt list. The league has not yet interviewed Watson for its own investigation into the sexual misconduct, and a source with knowledge of the league's investigation said it's likely won't until the criminal investigation is wrapped up. It won't interfere with the local police. Essentially, the league's investigation is a holding pattern. And so when will Watson's legal situation come into focus? Well, with there being 22 active civil lawsuits, and depositions can begin this month. February 22nd is the earliest Watson's deposition could begin. And there's a pretrial status, conference in May. That means barring a settlement, this won't be resolved by the 2022 NFL draft. So that's important to know that as well. And it says, as for the criminal situation involving 10 cases, authorities are likely weeks away from a resolution. So there you have all the latest information regarding Deshaun Watson in that situation. And as always, we'll continue to monitor any update that does transpire for Deshaun Watson. But there you have the latest there, and where he's going to be standing with the Houston Texans, and where we are right now in that situation. And be sure, guys, that you do like and subscribe to the video. Definitely do appreciate you guys so much for joining me for this video, and the support you guys are giving this channel. Thank you guys so much, and see you guys next video.